becomes hard to track the history then, because you were on a particular track and then manje I was between a short changing or whether the story is changing. It's just, you are never sure what's going on when you're trying to put together the story of that time, because one day we woke up, there was democracy. And but in all the songs, democracy. Of all the songs from Ruben Kalata's time, I've never heard of any one of those songs talk about democracy, but that's what we got, democracy instead of independence and freedom. But musically, it was such an amazing time because of Kwaito and what Kwaito gave to us and how free we felt. So we want to go into this 90s movement, but I've asked Tsoana Nhlapo to come and read something for us about the legacy of that time, right? So because it's Heritage Month, I wanted us to think of poverty as heritage. Yes. What it means when poverty is your inheritance. Because heritage is once again. But actually, inheritance, right? So outside of these costumes, so outside of that performance of caricature of what else do we have? So not all of us were as lucky to be able to determine our lives after 94. There are a lot of people who fell off, and we are not getting an equal share. We are not even sitting at the table. We are getting crumbs. But at least crumbs and the flavor. Yeah, you already we are getting flavored crumbs here. But there are people who have not even gotten a crumb or a drop of the gravy. So I've asked Tsoana to come read a portion from Simon Mohapi's book called The Unbroken Bonds of Apartheid, just to get us into the frame of the mind of those who did not even get a crumb. Please welcome Tsoana Nhlapo.
I came on a different tune. The Black Man and His Life by the Dumping Site. There are many dumping sites in South Africa, but people living from dumping sites and people living by the dumping sites far outnumber the dumping sites. There are two groups of these people. One group lives on a dumping site. The other group travel from the dumping sites to another dumping site, meaning traveling from town to town. The travelers follow the warmth and they avoid the great heat and the great cold. Approaching winter may force them to travel from the Free State to KZN and Mpumalanga. Winter is extremely cold in the Free State. They hitchhike long-distance trucks. A fortunate traveler may get a free lift, a free meal, a free drink, free cigarettes, and pocket money from a one good truck driver. They travel 800 kilometers in 20 hours. A traveler needs one pair of shoes, the clothes that he's wearing, and a umbrella blanket under his arm. He has no pride, and thus he begs with ease. A traveler, his eyes are well trained to spot an opportunity well in advance. His nose is trained to smell angry, cruel men 50 meters away. He has learned to beg, not for money, but for food. Such people are many. Before 1994, before democracy, there were few of them. The wandering, lonely people who hated that way. Some of them ran from high and unaffordable child maintenance court cases. They quit work because maintenance courts took each and every cent of their pay. Some of them ran from responsibilities, including abusive relationships and failed marriages. Some of them ran from troubles and death threats. Some of them felt driven out of society by the continued legalization of injustice, which South Africa inherited from apartheid. Some of them suffered total destruction of thriving livelihoods perpetuated by the apartheid judges still present and booming in the courts of South Africa. Some of them are victims of loan sharks who grabbed their possessions, houses, cars through legalized injustice systems. Some of them have suffered gross victimization in the hands of government officials. Some of them have suffered gross victimizations in the hand of private sector officials. Some of them have lost truly loved spouses and marriages to the strong and the powerful. Some of them regard themselves as the marginalized, the downtrodden, the wounded, the limping people of the dispossessed possessions. Some of them have lost trust in God and in people. Some of them, their souls and their spirits are filled with fear, hatred, anger, and hunger. All of them are broken. Their heart broken, their soul broken, their pride broken, and their life broken. They're all people of different backgrounds, educated and illiterate, clean and dirty, honest and dishonest, caring and sharing. I have learned that when people are very poor, their impulse to share and care is very strong. They live according to the Setswana idiom, Bana bamutu bakaukanya toko. Yes. In the evening, around the little fire, into the communal boiling pot, each contribute carrots, onions, and meat to the stew. The prepared food is then shared equally to all the people present, equally to those who have contributed and those who had nothing to contribute to the communal pot. I developed love for the people who are poor here, a love I could not have conceived if I had not been poor myself. Around the little fire, there are all manners of talk, from current news to old Bible scriptures. I heard of Andristadane firstly here, and xenophobia, and farm killings, and police killings, and Julius Malema's intended redistribution of land and wealth to all the people. It is here where Julius Malema gave me a glimpse of hope. I listened to philosophic discussions, robust debates, enlightening and educated talks. My companion for the night might be a murderer, a fugitive, a villain, an unfrocked priest, or a priest who had unfrocked himself. A doctor in education who was forced out of the department by the dullness. A destroyed politician, a bankrupt businessman, a teacher dismissed on account of sexual intercourse with the school learners, a lone-driven man running from his own memories. And each of them contributed bits of thoughts to the fire, while some contributed carrots, potatoes, onions, and meat to the stew. I learned the techniques of shaving with glass here, of judging people before I beg for food or money. I learned to avoid or get along with hostile police and security guards. I learned to evaluate a woman for the warmth of her heart. I stole a little, but only for food and the needed clothes that I saw on the washing line. I learned to live without pride, without my own personality, to avoid anger and jealousy. I learned to use and keep a soft voice, and I've managed to merge accents and dialects into my own speech, so that my speech did not seem foreign anyway. This was my safety, a protective veil. I traveled in long-distance tracks, and I traveled the whole of South Africa. There is so much to tell about South Africa, and we have people reduced to the skunks of the world. There's so much to tell, to the point that it becomes difficult for me to know what to write and what not to write. Yes. One thing sparks 1,000 others. The problem is to decide which one to write.